Hey guys, welcome back to another very interesting video of our channel Versatile Knowledge, and today I'm going to be doing the most requested video on our channel, that is the Poco X2 versus the Realme X3 smartphone. So I've been using both of these devices for quite some time now, and I know everything in and out of both of these devices. But over the last few days, what I was seeing is when you guys requested me to do a comparison between these two devices, I have seen a lot of comparison videos on YouTube and other blogging sites. But one thing that I've actually seen on all the videos or all the articles is that there is a pattern. That pattern is there is a comparison between the specs, there is a comparison between the real-time performance or the real-world performance, the gaming and everything. And in the end, the verdict is about should you buy this phone or should you buy this phone? But instead, I thought I should be answering the more important question. That is, do you really need to buy a flagship smartphone in 2020? So stay tuned till the end of this video because it is going to be a fantastic one. I'll be comparing every bit and detail between both of these devices. Let's get started. To start with, let me tell you guys one thing, that is both of these devices, the Poco X2 and the Realme X3, has been purchased from my own money. Hence, if you want to continue seeing more such videos, you have to actually subscribe to the channel and support us so that the more number of views we get, the more number of phones that we can buy and review for you guys. Let's get started with the first important thing about both of these phones, that is the build quality of these phones. You know, I'm not actually a fan of comparing the specs side by side and telling which is great and which is not great. Instead, I'll directly tell that the build quality of Poco X2 is slightly better than the build quality of Realme X3. You might be asking me the question, why? Because this is a 25,000 rupee phone, it is a 18,000 rupee phone, right? This phone, Poco X2, actually feels a little bit more heavy and this phone feels a little bit more light. Now let me come down to the facts. This phone actually costs you around 17,500 rupees, and this actually is an 8GB 128GB model of the Realme X3, which cost me 26,000 rupees. So there is a difference of around 9,000 rupees. This phone comes with the Corning Gorilla Glass 5 on the back and front and a plastic frame. This also comes with the Corning Gorilla Glass 5 on the back and front with a plastic frame. Now, since we are paying 9,000 rupees extra for the Realme X3 smartphone, it is natural for me to expect a better build quality on this phone. Either I can expect a Corning Gorilla Glass 6, an aluminium frame or a stainless steel frame, something like that, but build quality of Realme X3 is ditto as the build quality of Poco X2. Hence, for 17,500 rupees, Poco has done a commendable job in terms of build quality. It is a little bit more heavy and little bit more wide for my preference. This is a little bit more sleek and lighter for my preference, but still, since it is 9,000 rupees more than this smartphone, the build quality gets 1 point from my side for Poco X2. So Poco 1 and Realme 0. Now let's talk about the second most important thing, that is with respect to the audio from both of these phones. In my in-detailed review of both of these devices, I have told that the audio quality from a single bottom firing speaker will never be good. It is just a satisfactory audio quality. But here again, I would like to give the point to Poco for only one reason, that is it has the headphone jack. This phone, for some stupid reason, they have removed the headphone jack from the Realme X3 smartphone, and after I started using this smartphone, I actually realized the importance of headphone jack, seriously, because suddenly some call comes and you're in the middle of a lot of people and you want to take the call through your earphones, and you can't just find the adapter. You can't just fiddle around inside your bag or inside your pouch or somewhere to find that adapter and then connect earphones, because it's an important call and you have to take it right away. The importance of headphone jack is felt in these kind of situations. And one important thing that I've said in my Realme X3 full in-depth review is, for some strange reason, the Realme X3's audio quality is just bad. It is a single bottom firing speaker, but still, for a single bottom firing speaker, the optimization could have been made good, and the Dolby Atmos that has been advertised is also something which is very fake in my opinion. It's not actually working for me, or the Dolby Atmos is nothing but equalizer better for me, and hence the audio quality from the single bottom firing speaker of the Realme X3 is not good, and it does not have a headphone jack, so I could not give the points to Realme X3. On the other hand, the Poco X2 has a single bottom firing speaker, and the sound quality from the single bottom firing speaker is almost the same as the Realme X3's bottom firing speaker, and it also has the headphone jack for easy connectivity of the earphones. Hence the audio department goes 1 for Poco, and Poco is now at 2 and Realme X3 0. So now let's talk about the camera department, which is the biggest advantage of the Poco X2 smartphone. I would actually go ahead and say under 24,000 rupees or 25,000 rupees price range, the best camera available in the market right now in India is the Poco X2. It has the 64 megapixel Sony IMX686 sensor. The secondary lens is an ultra wide angle camera. The third is and third and fourth I do not actually care, and also on the front we have one depth sensor and one normal selfie shooter. And this photo quality and the video quality of the Poco X2 is commendable. It is extremely superb. We have done a dedicated camera review of the Poco X2 because it deserves a dedicated camera review, and we've also done a dedicated camera review of the Realme X3. I actually saw those photos side by side. Poco X2 takes better photographs on any given day, and I don't know whether it is because of the software optimization that has been made by Poco or the Sony sensor that is present on it, but the camera quality on the Poco X2 smartphone is exceptional. Even in the video capturing department, the Poco X2's 4K 30 fps samples is fantastic when compared to the 4K 30 fps samples on even the 4K 60 fps samples from the Realme X3 smartphone. The only department where Realme X3 actually beats the Poco X2 is in the tripod night mode of the Realme X3, because the tripod night mode is fantastic on the Realme X3, or the night mode shots is actually better from the Realme X3 than the Poco X2. And the number of Gcam variants or the Gcam ports that is available for the Poco X2 is more than what is available for the Realme X3. So the camera department, again, Poco X2 wins. So Poco X2 is now at 3 and Realme X3 at 0. Now you guys might be wondering that Realme is not getting any points and he's truly biased towards Poco or something, but that is not the case. I have used these phones as my primary devices. I have actually purchased with my own money, so I don't have any bias towards any brand or something. Now let's talk about the battery life on both these phones. Both these phones actually supports the fast charging. This has the 30 watt charger provided in the box, and this has the 27 watt charger provided in the box. Both of the smartphones can actually charge from 0 to 100 in somewhere around 60 to 65 minutes. In fact, the Realme X3 is a little bit more faster. At around 55 minutes it can charge, and this can also charge at around 60 or 65 minutes. But when it comes to the battery life, that is where the Realme X3 has better battery life, or slightly better battery life in my opinion, than the Poco X2 smartphone. Let me tell you one thing, both of these devices has a 120 Hz refresh rate LCD displays, and I've also used with the 60 Hz refresh rate on both these phones, and I've tested how much is the battery difference that it gives. It is not a considerable difference that you have to actually use at 60 Hz or something. So you can just go ahead and use these phones at 120 Hz. You will actually save somewhere around 20 or 25 minutes in my opinion. When it comes to the screen on time, Realme X3 is actually slightly better than the Poco X2 smartphone. I was consistently getting somewhere around 5 hours 40 minutes to 6 hours 20 minutes, whereas half an hour less screen on time was available on the Poco X2 smartphone. Why I'm giving the battery round to Realme X3 is one important reason, that is the consistency in the battery life is very important for me. For example, if I'm using the Poco X2, sometimes I actually used to get weird battery life drops. Sometimes the phone used to be at around 85, 89, 85, 86%, and I'm playing some game on the Poco X2, even if it is a normal game like small Subway Surfer or something, suddenly the battery life used to drop off. And sometimes if I'm playing some PUBG with the higher settings that is available for this phone, the battery life used to just drop around 3 or 4%. So this phone's battery life is kind of inconsistent in my opinion. It may be with respect to only my device, or it may be with respect to other Poco X2 smartphones also, but the battery life is kind of inconsistent on the Poco X2 smartphone, and hence the battery life round Realme X3 wins. Now Poco X2 is at 3, Realme X3 is at 1. Now let's talk about one of the most important parts of any smartphone, that is the screen on both of these devices. So both of these devices, the Poco X2 and the Realme X3, are made up of a 120 Hertz high refresh rate LCD display. This has a 6.5-inch display, slightly small, and this has around 6.6 inches or 6.67 or something like that. So this is slightly bigger and slightly heavier side than the Realme X3. And one thing is, the Poco X2 has the HDR10 plus certification available, and this does not have a HDR10 plus certification available, but still it also supports the HDR video playback. Both of them has the Widevine L1 certification available. Both of the displays are fantastic, not bad at all. Most of them were just bashing the Realme X3 for a bad display. I have actually done a dedicated video for the display of the Realme X3. If you go ahead and check out, I've actually made my point clear that the display on the Realme X3 is not bad at all. One thing for me that is actually a difference between both these devices in terms of the display is how well the 120 Hz refresh rate has been optimized on the Realme X3 smartphone. The Poco X2, just because of the fact it has a Snapdragon 730G and this has the Snapdragon 855 Plus, I think that might be the difference it is making. But the 120 Hz refresh rate is very well optimized on the Realme X3 smartphone. But when it comes to every other thing, the Poco X2 is also equally good. So this round I can actually say is a tie between the Realme X3 and the Poco X2 smartphone. Both the smartphones will be getting 1 point for this round. So in terms of screen department, Poco X2 also gets 1 and Realme X3 also gets 1 from my side. Now Poco X2 is at 4, Realme X3 is at 2. So guys, now let's talk about the software and the UI on both the devices. The Poco X2 actually comes with MIUI 11 and recently it got the MIUI 12 update. I've also shown the MIUI 12 update on this smartphone in a separate video, and this phone comes with the Realme UI out of the box, which is also a fantastic UI in my opinion. Both of the smartphones comes with the Android 10. Latest security patches are also available for both of these smartphones. Poco X2 and also Realme X3 do not have any ads whatsoever. Both of these devices have clean UI. There is the Mi Video and Mi Music and the Mi Browser application that comes pre-installed on the Poco X2 smartphone, which keeps sending that stupid recommendations, but you can't actually turn off this notifications and make sure that that recommendations do not come. And also in terms of the bloatwares, both of these devices have tons and tons of bloatwares. We have done specific videos for both the Realme X3 and the Poco X2 smartphones on how to remove bloatware for both of these devices. If you have not checked out both of those videos, please check out those videos because you can clean up your smartphone's crap by a huge margin. So both of these devices have a lot of bloatware. Around 20 applications come pre-installed on both of these phones. And also in terms of customization, both of these smartphones have a lot of customization. Screen recording available, gestures available, the screenshot by using the triple finger is available, a double tap to lock is available, and dark mode everywhere is fantastic in both the phones. Creating dual apps is fantastic in both the phones. Second space is beautiful in both the phones, and everything is fine. Transferring apps between the phone to computer, computer to phone, everything is fine between both of these UI. And I actually feel Realme UI is slightly bit more optimized when compared to the MIUI and MIUI 12. Because of MIUI 12's animation or something, I feel that Realme UI is a slightly bit more smoother. But when it comes to aggressive closing of applications, both of these devices equally do their part in terms of closing the applications in the background and killing the app so that you can save some battery life or something. Both of the phones are guaranteed to get the Android 11. I'm not sure about whether these two phones will get the Android 12 or not, but Android 11 is 100% guaranteed on both the phones. But when it comes to the the security patches, you are sure to get the security patch till this is 2020, 21, 22. So at least till 2022 you can get the software security patches and the other minor software updates till 2022 on both the smartphones. So again, the software department is a tie between the Poco X2 and the Realme X3. Now Poco X2 at 5, Realme X3 is at 3. Now let's talk about something that is actually a straightaway winner for the Realme X3, that is the performance aspect. So I have actually divided the performance between the general day-to-day performance and the heavy performance. So general day-to-day performance means what? It might be taking normal calls, normal text messages, WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, Hike, Twitter, normal YouTube videos, TV shows here and there. These are normal day-to-day usage. This everybody does. So in terms of normal day-to-day usage, all also there is no hiccups in terms of performance. The optimization for performance is fantastic on the Snapdragon 855 Plus. It is a clear winner in terms of performance, even for the day-to-day transactions. Since Snapdragon 730G is kind of an old processor, I feel the performance even for the day-to-day transactions cannot be matched with the Snapdragon 855 Plus. So in terms of day-to-day usage, that is the general usage, Realme X3 is a clear winner in my opinion. Now let's talk about the performance in terms of gaming. So performance in terms of gaming, again, I should not even compare these two phones. It is a clear winner. HDR, extreme, and 55 to 60 frames per second, easy PUBG Mobile performance. The software on this has been updated for 2 times, and with the software update, the performance has been improved. And with day-to-day usage, I can feel that the performance of this Realme X3, even in the gaming department, is fantastic in my opinion. So in terms of performance for general and in terms of performance for the heavy usage, Realme X3 is a clear winner. The performance for general is a 1 point for Realme X3 and 0 for Poco X2. Performance for gaming and heavy usage is 1 point for Realme X3 and 0 for Poco X2, and hence both the Realme X3 and Poco X2 now stand at 5 points each. So now the comparison has got neck to neck, and it has got a little bit more exciting. Now let's talk about the important aspect for a normal customer, that is the service and support of these devices. And in terms of service support, I would actually like to tell both of this service support is fantastic, even with respect to the online and also the offline centers. One call to their service centers, they will actually respond to you fantastic. I actually had a few issues with respect to the battery life of the Poco X2 and with respect to the 120 Hz refresh rate issue with the Realme X3, and I contacted both of them on Twitter using my official Versatile Knowledge handles, and they actually replied fast. They took these feedback into notice, and they actually pushed a software update few weeks later. All those issues which we had actually noted were fixed, and I'm not telling that just because I reported and they fixed. No, it is actually a generic issue, and a lot of people were reporting, and it will surely get fixed. And when it comes to the service centers offline, there are a lot of service centers equally for Xiaomi and Realme. The number of service centers of Xiaomi might be more than the number of centers for Realme, which is obvious because Xiaomi is a slightly older brand in India. It has been in existence since 2014 and Realme is in existence since 2018. So this is just a 2-year-old brand and this is a 6-year-old brand. So obviously the number of service centers will be more. Quality of service is fantastic in for both these devices. And how am I telling this? Because some of my friends had Realme phones and Xiaomi phones, and with some issues I actually contacted them and asked their experience with this with the service centers of both these smartphones, and they actually told it is equally good. So in terms of service and support for both these devices, it is again a tie. So now we are standing at 6 points for both the Xiaomi and the Realme. So now it is a tie between both the smartphones, that is, one is a mid-range smartphone and one is a powerful gaming smartphone. So now, as you guys can see on the Excel sheet over here, I've actually noted down a lot of points which got between the Poco X2 and the Realme X3 smartphone, and here is where the real comparison comes between. I've actually not compared this to tell you guys whether you should buy the Poco X2 or whether you should buy the Realme X3. Depending upon what is your budget, you can go ahead and buy whatever smartphone you want, but the point of comparison is to show that how good and how superb is the mid-range phones have gotten in the last few years. In the last couple of years, the mid-range phones have gotten so good that actually you don't need a flagship, in my opinion. Now let me tell you guys about when do you need a flagship. So as you guys just saw on the Excel sheet that I have actually made between the comparison of both these phones, both of the phones are fantastic in my opinion in any different areas that you have given. It is a tie between both of these phones. But one question that comes to my mind is, since the GST hike, a lot of smartphones have got expensive in my opinion. Phones which had to be launched at around 10,000 is coming at around 15,000. Phones with HD plus display is coming at around 15,000, and phones which had to be priced at around 16,000 or 15,000 is coming at around 20,000. I am even talking about the Realme 7 Pro, which is launching on the September 3rd, which is expected to come at around 20,000 rupees. Snapdragon 720G, even if it is having a 65 watt charging, stereo speakers, it will be having Super AMOLED display at 60 Hz and 64 megapixel camera. I don't feel that smartphone should be priced somewhere above 17,000 rupees. rupees or something, but due to the GST hike and other dollar rate increase or something, the phone's prices are getting expensive and it has become more and more volatile. Just for an example, I bought the Realme X3 smartphone few weeks back, and now the value of Realme X3 is how much? Not even 22,000 rupees, because it was costing 26,000 rupees for me, and if I go and sell, I will not even get 22,000 rupees, I guess. So this is because these phones are actually a volatile pieces of technology, especially smartphones. They get vanished from this scene very fast. The brand value of Apple and Samsung is really high, but the brand value of any other smartphone brand apart from Apple and Samsung, or even OnePlus, any other brand, do not have that much amount of resale value. When you go and sell these smartphones in the market, you don't get a lot of money for the buyback or exchange. Hence, I would actually go ahead and say you don't actually need to buy a flagship and waste money, wasting like 26,000. I actually brought it for review and I'll be selling it off, and I'll be buying the next upcoming phone which is trending or something. But for a common customer, just ask a question: do you play games more than like 3 hours and 4 hours a day? I don't think so. If you play games for like 1 hour casual gaming, 2 hours heavy gaming, 2.5 hours, you're an extreme gamer. A day I'm talking about. If you play games for around 1 hour or 2 hours in a day, this Poco X2 smartphone or any mid-range smartphone under 20,000 rupees should be more than enough for you, because everybody knows the general day-to-day performance, the media experience, the battery life, the 120 Hz refresh rate, the cameras, audio, everything is so good on the Poco X2 smartphone that you do not actually need a flagship smartphone. Flagship smartphones are just like having bragging rights among your friends. You might actually say, my phone has Snapdragon 855 plus, your phone has Snapdragon 730G. That is for 2 days. After 2 days, who will actually care about it? These are actually status symbols. These smartphones are status symbols to show off among your mates. Unless you play competitive gaming, by playing these games like PUBG and Call of Duty, you're earning money for yourself, or you're making a career for yourself or something, then please go ahead and buy the Realme X3 or OnePlus 8 or something, because that will become an investment for you. Unless you're making an investment on these phones, it will be a waste of money. Because if you play games for around 2 hours or 2.5 hours, Poco X2 is more than enough. Or the upcoming Realme 7 Pro, which they are telling will be coming around 19,999 or 20,000 rupees, let's consider, that phone will be more than enough. You don't have to buy a phone at 30,000 rupees. For example, Realme X2 Pro. I'm talking about the Realme X50 Pro. Kids these days actually force their parents and ask for gaming phones. I want to play PUBG, I want to play PUBG. Just ask a question for yourself. If you are buying a 50,000 rupees smartphone, are you making that investment on 50,000 rupees that you will be getting 1 lakh or 2 lakh tomorrow, or you are just wasting that 50,000 rupees money, which will actually get reduced in value over the next 6 months? That is the question that you guys actually need to ask yourself. You play games like 1.5 to 2 hours in a day. You take a lot of photographs. You do a lot of calls, social media, everything. Then Poco X2, that is the mid-range phones, is more than enough. And you don't really need a flagship in 2020. I guess you might have actually understood what was the point that I wanted to make in this video, guys. I do not wanted to make a generic comparison between a flagship and a mid-range smartphone. I wanted to answer a very important question, that is about the need or the necessity of a smartphone. Why I took this topic in today is because of the current situation that is going everywhere. The market condition is very bad, and if you buy a flagship smartphone by paying a lot of EMI, then it doesn't actually make sense. People having salaries of around 25-30,000 rupees, they go ahead and buy smartphones of value over 75-80,000 rupees by giving a lot of EMIs monthly, which is actually foolishness in my opinion. Because if you're buying that smartphone, that will become less in value over the course of time and does not increase in value. You are not buying gold, you're buying just a flagship. You're just buying a flagship smartphone which you will have bragging rights for next 3-4 years. You can just boast among your friends, and nothing else you can do with those devices. You actually do not need a smartphone more than a fantastic mid-range smartphone like the Poco X2 or the upcoming Realme 7 Pro, or even the Redmi Note 9 Pro Max, or even the Redmi Note 9 Pro. Those phones are just enough for most smartphone users. If you guys have liked this video, please hit the like button and share this video with your friends. And if you have still not subscribed to my YouTube channel, you have to hit that subscribe button, because more interesting analysis, in-depth videos like this will be coming soon only on our channel. Thank you for watching, guys.